Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about some players that have been playing really good basketball since coming out of the All-Star break, second half of the season. It's a home stretch for a lot of teams trying to clinch their spots and trying to make it to the playoff race, all stuff like that. And some players, I have 8 players here that have been playing really good basketball so far in the second half of the season. I want to talk about them here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Link to my Twitter, description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the first player we're going to talk about is Jaylen Brown. It's an obvious one, but it's someone. Jaylen Brown has been playing really good basketball. Of course, I mean, he made the All-Star team. All because the Celtics have been the best team in the NBA for the entirety of the year. But it feels like the second half of the season, Jaylen Brown has taken another step. So far, he's played 10 games since All-Star break. In those 10 games, they're 8-2. He's averaging 29 points per game with 6 rebounds, over 3.5 assists, and a steal, while shooting 54% from the field, 40% from 3, only 64% from the free throw line. But he's been playing really good basketball and is top 5 in terms of second half of the season. So far, since the day that teams have come back from the All-Star break till now, he's top 5 in scoring. He's also top 3 in plus minus because the Celtics again are 8-2 and have the best record since the All-Star break in the stretch. But Jaylen Brown's been playing really good ball. I mean, you look at some of the games that he has played since coming to the All-Star break. He had, every game, his lowest scoring game was 21 twice. Against Chicago, then against Cleveland. But yeah, he's had a couple 30-point games. He had one against Philly. He had 31 points on 11 for 14 shooting. He had a game against Golden State where they won by 50. He had 29 points. Hit 5 threes. Against the Nuggets, they lost that game, but he had 41, 14, shot 16 for 29. Last night against Phoenix, he had 37 on 14 for 23 shooting. It's been the efficiency. The efficiency has been amazing. I mean, he's taking almost over 21 shots per game, which is in the top 10 in field goal attempts in this stretch, but he's shooting 54%. Like, that's just ridiculous. 54% and then 40% from 3 on 7 attempts. The free throw shooting, obviously, isn't great. That's also because he had a game. His last couple games, he's not been shooting the free throw super well. But Jaylen Brown has been just playing at an elite level this season, which he was playing really good the first half of the season. But now, the second half of the season, he's kind of taking another step. And been kind of the All-NBA type of Jaylen Brown. And he's making a case for an All-NBA team. If he's playing like this the second half of the season, it's just been really fun to watch. And yeah, he's just, I don't know, I feel like he has just a certain energy to him, a certain edge to him right now that he's playing with. That's really nice to see. Next guy I want to talk about is DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, first half of the season in Chicago, he was solid. He was doing really good. The Bulls weren't a great team. Of course, Kobe White was taking the steps. They had a lot of injuries, stuff like that. But in the second half of the season, DeMar DeRozan has been playing really great basketball. He's averaging, so far, in 12 games since the All-Star break, he's averaging 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, while shooting 48% from the field, 35% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. He's been taking threes, which is a very interesting thing. He's taking over 3.5 attempts per game. He's kind of been letting it fly. Like, he's attempted a 3 in almost every game since coming out of the All-Star break. And in almost all those games, he's attempted multiple threes. He had a couple games where he's attempted 6 threes. When's the last time DeMar DeRozan was taking 6 threes in a game? You know what I mean? It's some games where he's taking 5 threes. He's been taking threes second half season. He's been knocking it down at a decent level. I mean, again, 35% for DeMar DeRozan is not bad. But he's just been doing it all. He's been scoring the ball super efficiently. He's had a couple 30-point. He's had 4 30-point games the second half of the season. He had a 35-10-5 game against Cleveland. That was really good when they got an overtime win. He had 33 against the Spurs where he shot 10 for 12 from the field. 33 against the Warriors where he had some clutch shots at 33-4. He had a game against the Clippers where they lost, but he had 24-10. Then, of course, the game against Indiana the other night, we had 46-9. Shot 15 for 24. Hit the clutch shot to send it to overtime. He's just been clutch, and now he's taken over. He's the odds-on favorite right now to win Clutch Player of the Year. But yeah, the Bulls in general have been one of the clutchest teams in the NBA, which I made a short about yesterday. It's just very interesting to see that the Bulls, even though they're under 500 team and not really good, they're one of the clutchest teams in the league. And DeMar DeRozan is a big factor of that. When it comes to the fourth quarter and it comes to time to take the team home, DeMar DeRozan it's just something that happens to DeMar DeRozan. He just takes over. But the second half of the season, he's been very good. He's been taking, he's gonna look a lot more like what we saw the first and second year in Chicago. Not saying he was bad this year. I don't know. It didn't feel like the same DeMar DeRozan, the dominant DeMar DeRozan. But now he's doing it. He's playing really well. The Bulls are 6-6 in the second half of the season so far. We had DeMar DeRozan. Maybe is he gonna win Clutch Player of the Year? Imagine winning Clutch Player of the Year on a 500 or under 500 team is interesting. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Next guy I want to talk about has been someone that's been surprisingly dominant in the second half of the season, and that's DeAndre Ayton. I made a short about this yesterday too, but DeAndre Ayton has been playing really, really good in the past week, specifically in the second half of the season in total. He hasn't played in every game. He's only played in 7 games second half of the season, but he just looks different. He's averaging 25 points per game, 15 rebounds, which is second in the stretch, 1 assist. He's shooting 63% from the field, 50% from 3, 93% from the free throw line. He's been balling, and specifically in the last 4 games. In his last 4 games, he's had 3 30-point games. In his last 4 games, he's averaging 29 points, almost 17 rebounds per game, shooting 61% from the field, 91% from the free throw line, and the Blazers are 2-2 in that stretch. He had 3 of his last 4 games, he's at 30. He's had 2 30-point, 19 rebound games. Last night against the Knicks, he had a 31-14 game. The day before that against the Hawks, he had 33-19, 15 for 20 shooting. Against Toronto, he had 30-19. Even that game against Boston where they lost, he had 22-15. He looks different. He looks a lot more energized and actually wanting to play. He's had 3 30-point games in the past week, where before that he had not had a 30-point game the entirety of the season. His season high was 27. So he looks a lot more involved. He's healthy. He's playing a consistent amount of games now. And I don't know, there's just something about him. He just looks a lot more energetic, a lot more involved, a lot more willing to go out and play. The entire year, he's been really good rebounding the ball. It's just the offense, of course, has been a big thing, and just the aggressiveness and kind of the work ethic has been in question. But he's playing a great stretch of ball. And now it's just can they continue the rest of the year? Maybe did DeAndre unlock something? I don't know what really has been. Maybe it's because he's the number 1 guy now, because Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant haven't played. Anthony Simons has played a little bit. Maybe he has a bigger role now, so maybe he's more involved because he has a bigger role. I'm not really sure. But I can't deny he's been playing really, really good ball recently. He's been dominating, as they used to call him. And yeah, I just want to see, is this going to continue the rest of the season, or is this just a little, hot stretch that he's going on? Next guy I want to talk about is Cade Cunningham. I also made a video about him the other day, talking about how great he's been playing the entirety of the year, but specifically in the second half of the season, he's been playing really, really good. He's averaging almost 25 points, 5 rebounds, and over 7.5 assists per game, while shooting 47% from the field, 43% from 3, 89% from the free throw line. The 3-point shot has been amazing. He's hit multiple threes in almost every game, second half of the season, and shooting efficiently as well. He's had 4 30-point games so far in this stretch, 3 double-doubles. He's been playing really good. He had 32, 5, and 8 game against New York where they lost by 2. He was dominant in that game. 21, 3, and 10 game where they lost to Cleveland. He had a 30 back-to-back games. He had 32, 5, and 11 in a win, and then 33, 9, and 10 in a loss. But he's been playing really good. He had 22, 6, and 8 game. He's been playing really good all-around basketball, and the Pistons have been winning. The Pistons are 4-7 in the second half of the season, which for the Pistons is really good. But also, they won 3 of their last 4 games. So, they're getting better, and Cade Cunningham has just been getting better as well. I love Cade Cunningham a whole lot. I think he's having a really good season. It's just not really been talked about because the Pistons are horrible. But Cade Cunningham, so far the second half of the season, he's been a lot more aggressive, I feel in terms of getting his shots. He's taken 20 more shots in almost every game since the second half of the season, which is not something he did a whole lot in the first half of the season. So I love the aggressiveness. I love that he's taking a lot more threes. He's a lot more confident in the 3 ball, and he's knocking it down. He's also been getting to the free throw line a little bit more. He just looks a lot more aggressive and a lot more hungry, knowing that this is a big stretch for the Pistons to see what their future is going to look like. And yeah, it's just Cade has been playing really, really good ball. Next guy we're talking about is DeJounte Murray. He's been without Trae Young for all but 1 game so far in the second half of the season due to Trae Young's injury. He's been the lead ball handler and stuff, and he's been playing pretty good. So far in 10 games since the second half of the season, he's averaging over 25.5 points with almost 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and almost 1.5 steals, while shooting 48% from the field, 36% from 3, 72% from the free throw line. He's had some really good games. The first 2 games without Trae Young against Orlando and Utah back-to-back in wins, he had 25, 9, and 11, and then 17, 4, and 11. Then back-to-back games against Brooklyn, they lost both those games. Those were pretty tough losses. He had 28, 6, and 5, and 26 and 11. Then he had a 41-point game against Memphis. And then he had 23 and 11 assists in a loss to New Orleans. And then his last game against Portland, he had 40. They lost that game. He shot 15 for 29 from the field. Yeah, he's been having the lead ball handler duties without Trae Young, and he's been playing good. I mean, he's had what, 4 double doubles, 2 40-point games. Yeah, playing really really solid. For the second half of the season, trying to build up his trade value, because looks likely that he will not be Atlanta Hawk next season. So kind of build up that value and showing kind of like, hey, like I could still be a really good lead ball handler. I'm just in a bad situation over here, which was what I was really excited to see when Trae Young got injured. Which it was unfortunate that Trae Young got injured, but the one bright side was we'll get to see DeJounte Murray kind of be the main guy again and see what he can do. So yeah, DeJounte, he's been playing pretty solid, even though the team has not been amazing. Next guy I want to talk about is Darius Garland. Garland had a very injury-riddled first half of the season. He had the early injury after the first game. He missed a couple games. Then he had the jaw injury that he missed a whole month for. And now he's finally on a healthy stretch. In the second half of the season, he's been playing really good. He's averaging almost 21 points per game with almost 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. He's shooting 44% from the field, 46% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. The three-point shooting has been elite. Shooting 46% from 3 on almost 9 attempts per game. Like, he's been done. He's had 6 games with double-digit three-point attempts, but he's been knocking it down. He had a 7-3 game against Chicago. Then the next day he had an 8-3 game against Detroit. The last 2 games he had 7 threes against Phoenix, 6 games against New Orleans, 6 threes against New Orleans. Like, he's been shooting the lights out from three-point range, and he looks comfortable. Donovan Mitchell also has not played in a lot of those games as well, but he just looks a lot more comfortable. And this is his first full stretch of games he's played this season. He's played in over 20 consecutive games, which is the first time he's done that all season. So he's finally getting healthy, and he's finally starting to look like the Darius Garland we've seen. He was not playing really good first half of the season, but again, that's a lot of injuries. He just couldn't really establish a rhythm. But now he's establishing a rhythm. He's playing really good. Even the Pelicans game with Donovan Mitchell there. Donovan Mitchell kind of took a backseat and was like, you know what, Darius, you got it. And he had 27, 6, and 11, hit 6 threes. He's had a couple 30-point games. The Cavs have had some good wins as well. And now Darius Garland is starting to get his confidence back and his energy back. And now with him and Donovan Mitchell as the guard duo, that's going to be really scary. If Darius has his confidence and Donovan starts to establish himself back into, the rhythm like we all expect him to, like it's going to get dangerous. But Darius Garland, he's been shooting the lights out. Next guy we're going to talk about is Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. has been playing really good. He's been good all year, but specifically the second half of the season, he's been playing really, really, really good. So far in 11 games, he's averaging 20.5 points and over 7.5 rebounds per game, while shooting 55% from the field, 42% from 3, 93% from the free throw line. He's been shooting the ball super, super well, 50, 40, 90 in the second half of the season. 42% from 3 on 7 3-point attempts is great. He's had 2 30-point games. In the 11 games that he's played in the second half of the season, he's had 20 or more in 7 of them. He's had a couple 25-point games. He had a game against the Lakers where he had 25-10 and shot 10 for 10 from the field. He had a 34-point game against Portland. He hit 5 threes. A 30 and 11 game against Miami. We hit 4 threes. He had the 25-10 game against the Lakers where he shot perfect from the field. Last game against Miami, he had 25, hit 5 threes. He's been playing really good. And the Nuggets are trying to fight for the 1 seed. That's what's been talked about. They're trying to go in and get the 1 seed and get home court advantage. And Michael Porter Jr. kind of has taken, the whole team has kind of had this sort of energy and edge to them, trying to prove themselves a little bit. Michael Porter Jr. has taken it, and he's been really good. And that's been a reason why they've been so dominant. They're 10-1 in the 11 games since the All-Star break. They have been just absolutely dominant. And Michael Porter Jr. catching fire and shooting the ball efficiently and rebounding the ball as well. He's had 4 double-doubles so far in the second half of the season. Has been a big reason why. And the last guy we're going to talk about is Josh Hart. Josh Hart has been playing really good. He's on a stretch right now. He's like, he's turning into the king of the triple-double, the king of the double-double, whatever. He's been playing really good. That's also a reason for this. Also, is the Knicks have been battling injuries second half of the season, but now they are getting healthy. Jalen Brunson's back, OG's back. But Josh Hart has been holding down the fort, and he's been really, really good. In 11 games since the All-Star break, he's averaging 15 points, 12 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and almost 1.5 steals, while shooting 44% from the field, 36% from 3, 62% from the free throw line. But he's been amazing. In the 11 games he's played since the All-Star break, 11 games he's played, he's had 5 double-doubles, he's had 2 triple-doubles, he's had 7 games of double-digit rebounds as a 6'5 guard. We all know he's an amazing rebounder. We all know him for his size especially. But he's been really good. Look at some of the stat lines that he's had since the second half of the season. First game back against Philly, 18-12. He had a 16. Next game, 16, 8, and 6. Next game against Detroit, 23, 8 and 6, 8 for 17 shooting. Against New Orleans, 15, 10 and 5. Against Golden State, 14, 8 and 7. Against the Cavaliers, 13, 9 and 10, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Against Atlanta, 14, 8 and 6. Against Orlando, 19, 7 and 4, 8 for 12 shooting. Against Philly, 19 and 11. Against Philadelphia, again, 20, 19 and 10. And then last night against Portland, 7, 15, 2 assists, 3 blocks. 3 steals. Like, he's been putting up insane stat lines. He's been doing it on the rebounding, passing the ball. We know he's going to bring defensively and the energy and toughness he's going to bring every night. But, yeah, he's just been really good. He's been kind of holding down the fort since, without Brunson, without OG and all of them. But now that they're back, he can kind of get back into his old role. But he's still been playing really, really good ball, and just one of the best role players in the league. Just a dude that is always going to come out, bring it every night. He's going to do everything on the court, and it's just really nice to see him do that. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have some more players that have been playing really good the second half of the season that I didn't talk about here, because there's a lot of players that are playing really good that I wanted to put in here, but these are just the key guys that I really thought were doing it at a great level, but there's been a lot more. So if you have any more, leave them down in the comments below. Once again, if you like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, so also like that. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.